massive milestone this episode. We get to take the loom off after removing all of the lamps and switches from the playfield. The next thing I need to do is to move on to the lamps and the switches and get all this other stuff off. So one of the things I'm going to have to do is I have used this tape to basically label every one of the, well, almost every one of the plugs. And so what I'm going to do is I am going to just write on each of the plugs, because if you put this in the dishwasher, guess what, this masking tape is going to come off. So what I'm going to do is just write a number on each of these plugs with a permanent marker, and then remove the tape and go from there very quickly, and then remove the loom. I'm going to desolder the switches, the micro switches. I'm going to leave the other switches on, but the micro switches I'm going to take off. So there's, how many micro switches? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 micro switches from what it looks like, maybe 10. Take those off and then obviously mark them very clearly which one is which, photograph it again so I can connect it up quickly again. But apparently these, they do okay in the dishwasher, but it's got a small failure rate. I may as well just go and replace them, and whilst I take them out, I'm going to just check that they're all working, and you can hear a nice loud click, and we'll check that. But these leaf switches, I'm going to replace a couple of them, but most of them should be fine to go back in. So they'll go through the dishwasher. And obviously I'll take out each of the lamps out of the sockets, but I'll leave the sockets on when it goes to the dishwasher. So let me just go through and simply go and label these individually. I'm not going to bore you with this, but when you come back it'll all be done. So I've decided to desolder all of the micro switches. So the column, the green wire, is on a plug, so I'm just going to unplug that and desolder the row wire of, I think it's 10 or 11 switches, and I've taken photographs of each of these so that I know which is which, and try to keep them together if they are. A lot of the switches are daisy chained, so if you can keep that together, that'll mean you're not second guessing yourself why you're left with an extra wire. So that's that. So I'm literally just going to go through and remove all of these, and then I can start to get ready to put this in the dishwasher, and you'll see that all the plugs I've got numbers on now with blue pen, which can be removed with isopropyl alcohol. So I'm just going to go through that done now. Okay, so all the wires are unsoldered. So there's 12 micro switches in total, 11 that you need to desolder. In fact, there's only 10 that you need to desolder. The one micro switch is on the ball trough. That's already moved across because that's attached to the bracket, the ball eject bracket. Then you've got 11 left, and then there's one that is just daisy chained across here in the right in lane, which is daisy chained across, so it shares the common wire. So I only had to desolder one on this other right in lane. So this leaves a total of 10. So I'm literally going to take them all out now, the 10 out, the 11 out, and put them across into the other game. So I'm using the powered screwdriver to remove them, but I will always put them into the new playfield by hand. Just makes it a bit thicker. And I'm doing them one switch at a time. Go and have a look at that. And in each case, I'm just going to test it and see that it sounds good and that this hasn't been misformed. Maybe give it a bit of a wipe and a clean and put it into the other side. Now it doesn't actually matter which one goes in where. It doesn't, so long as it's roughly the same. It's the Same switch. Some of the micro switches have got slightly different profiles on the wire portion, on this portion here, but other than that it doesn't really matter. And these are all rollovers, so giving this a bit of a clean, in it goes. You want to just try to make sure that the switch is in the middle of the wooden slot that's available, so that it doesn't get bound by the wood. Okay. There we go. First one in. Another 11 to go. I'll go put these in now and we'll see how we go from there. Okay, so the switches are all in. These 4 down the bottom and the 7 up the top up there. So now we're going to hit getting actually the looms off, including all of the lamps, driver lamps and general illumination, plus the rest of the loom on the old playfield, and get that washed. Okay, so the last thing to do now is just to remove all the looms. So there's the wire looms which attach to switches, there's wire looms that attach to the general illumination, and there's the wire looms that go off to the lamps. And then of course there's the power looms for all of the coils. So what I'm going to start by doing is just unplugging. I might just take another set of photographs of just the lamps, just to be 100% sure. There are not that many lamps on this machine that are actually individual sockets, because most of them are on boards, which is helpful. But just to make it quicker when I put it back together, I'm just going to take a quick picture of each of these, and then we'll start to unscrew first the switches, these leaf switches, and then we'll go on to take out all the GI and all of the lamps on the lamp matrix, the driven lamps. So let me do the pictures first and then I'll move on from there. I think that's it for the lights, lamps, both GI. We've just got some switches left, which we'll go and do individually now. Okay, so before I do the switches, I'm just going to document very quickly. So there are all the screws from the lamps, and they're a little bit shorter than the others. I'm surprised by that. So they're a little golden colour and a little bit shorter, probably because they don't have to actually carry any weight or under any stress. So they've just got short screws. So keep those separately. Let's get all the switches out now. These have all been labelled and photographed. So you'll notice that several of these have got some bad wire hacks that have been put in place over the years by operators. I'll fix these up before this goes back in the machine. So let's just get the rest out. Some of these have got the wrong screws in actually with Phillips head screwdrivers. So just off to the dishwasher. And that's why you need to put it in the dishwasher. So now all I've got are these standoffs, wire loom holders, which I'll take off clean and put onto the other machines. All done and dusted pretty much. Got the side rails I'll take off as well. Really happy with how that's all come out. Okay, so the wire loom stands need to come off. I don't know what the real word for this is. So they're all out, get those cleaned up. So the other thing I've done is all of these standoffs I've cleaned, took the plastics off and then polished up these on the buffer. And those are all ready now for the installation. So let's get the loom back on. Next episode I'll show you how we wash the wire loom and put it back on the playfield. Make sure you subscribe so you stay in contact with the next videos I publish.